If you're hearing this, then it's possible I'm not alive. My name is Samir, and I'm recording this confession because I feel like I died 7 days ago. Yes, you heard it right. It all started with a strange phone call. It was 2:17 in the morning. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. I ignored it. The call came again. Then a third time. I received it, irritated. On the other side, only my breathing was labored. I fell silent. Then a voice came. Samir, you don't deserve to be alive. A chill ran down my spine.
The voice was mine.
Absolutely mine. I said angrily. Who is it, son? A laugh came from the other side. The line cut again. I checked the number. It was my number. I froze. The call log clearly read, incoming call, Samir. I immediately dialed my number. The phone started ringing in my hand. The phone in my hand was calling me. I couldn't sleep that night. The next morning when I went to the office, everyone was looking at me with strange eyes. My friend Fahad came up to me. Bro, are you okay? I said, yes, why?
He spoke softly.
The news of your death is going viral. My mind went blank. He showed me my phone. Facebook post. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Samir Ahmed passed away in a road accident. My picture was posted. People were praying in the comment section. The names of my family members were tagged. My office's name was mentioned. And the date, 7 days ago. But I was here.
Alive.
Breathing. I immediately called home. Amy answered the phone. Her voice was tearful.
Who?
I said, Amy, I'm Samir. She screamed. The phone dropped. Then Abu's voice came. Who's joking? I said, Abu, I'm alive. He said, Samir's funeral took place 7 days ago. My blood froze. I ran straight home. There was a tent outside the house. People were sitting. My picture was painted with flowers. I went inside, but no one noticed me. I kept screaming. No one could hear me. I went to my room, and there, someone was sleeping on the bed. That was me. My body.
Bone.
Injured. My eyes closed. I moved back. I stood in front of the mirror. There was no reflection in the mirror. My body was on the bed, but I was lying here. Then the same voice came near my ears. Do you understand now? You're just a copy. I turned back and looked. There was a copy in the corner of the room. His face resembled mine, but his eyes were black, completely dark. He slowly started walking towards me. The room was getting colder with every step. He said, I'm the original. You're a copy. Then he extended his hand and thrust it into my chest. I felt my heart flutter. He said, after 7 days, I will take complete control. I screamed, and my eyes opened. I was in my room.
Alive.
Sweating. I immediately picked up my phone. Checked the date. Today was the same date. The day my death was posted. 7 days had passed. The phone vibrated. A notification came. Facebook memory. 1 year ago, Samir's death anniversary. My mind was about to go blank. Looked towards the mirror. This time it was a reflection. But he was smiling. Not me. Reflection.
He said softly.
Now it's my turn. And Samir in the mirror disappeared in the blink of an eye. But there was a knock on the room door. 3 times. Fake. 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 In the exact same rhythm. That was on the phone. If you haven't heard part 1, it might be hard to understand all this. But if you have, then you know that my reflection had disappeared from the mirror. And now, there was a knock on the room door. THAK. 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 10 times. Exactly in the same rhythm. My breathing quickened. I was alone in the house at that time. Amy Abu had been at relatives' houses since the funeral 7 days earlier. I slowly moved towards the door. Every step felt heavy. The knock sounded again. But this time the door wasn't shaking from outside, it was shaking from inside. As if something was hitting the door from inside the room. My mind went numb. I quickly turned back and looked in the mirror. The mirror was completely normal. The reflection had returned. But
It wasn't me.
he was smiling, and he slowly placed his finger on his lips. Sure. Then he winked. The door started shaking violently. Thak. 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 This time the sound was so loud that the walls shook. I mustered up the courage and opened the door. There was no one outside, just darkness. But there were wet footprints on the floor, of water, as if a lost person had walked past. The footprints were coming straight into my room and ending near the bed, the same bed where I had seen my dead body. My throat went dry. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. I received it. Only one sentence came from the other end. You've been taking this place for 7 days. The line cut. I immediately called back. The phone started ringing from a corner of my room. The same corner where I'd seen him last. My feet froze. The phone slowly moved to the bed. The screen read, "Incoming call, real Samir." My mind was about to go blank. I received the call. A heavy breath came from the other end. Then a voice. "He's replacing you. Get out quickly." I said. Who? Who is speaking? A voice shouted. I am the real Samir. I'm still alive, but he's in my body. Darkness fell before my eyes. Suddenly, the mirror broke. Involuntarily, the pieces of glass fell to the ground, and in each piece, my reflection appeared with different expressions. One was crying, one was laughing, one's eyes were completely black. Then everyone spoke in unison. Time's up. The room door closed automatically. The lights started flickering. My body started to feel heavy, as if someone was entering inside. I felt the same pain in my chest, as if someone had put their hand inside. The real Samir was screaming on the phone. Don't mention his name. Don't look at him. If you see him, he'll take control. But it was already late. I looked around the corner. He had said it. Exactly my face. But his body was dripping with water, as if he'd been in an accident. Blood was gushing from his head. He said softly, "It wasn't me who killed him in an accident." My throat choked. Then who killed him? I said with difficulty. He came right in front of me, so close I could see my fear in his eyes. He said, "It wasn't me. You killed him." The air in the room completely froze. He placed his hand on my chest. My breath stopped. The real Samir's voice on the phone was slowly fading. "I don't believe it. You're the real one." But the reflection started laughing. "Test it." He handed me a piece of mirror. "Cut your hand." I said like a madman, "You're crazy." He said, "If blood comes out, then you're alive." The only sound in the room was my heartbeat. Gathering up courage, I made a light cut on my finger. Blood came out. Red. Hot. I started crying. "Look, I'm alive." But the reflection started laughing. He started laughing even harder. Then he cut his finger. Blood came out of that too. But his blood was black, and it disappeared as soon as it hit the ground. He came very close to me. The only difference is that your time is running out. Suddenly, my phone went dead. Lights off. Darkness. I felt something was crawling inside my back. My body was going out of control. I was screaming, but no sound was coming out. Then everything was silent. When I opened my eyes, I was in the hospital. The doctors were waiting for me. Amy was crying. The doctor was saying, "He has regained consciousness after being in a coma for 7 days." I froze. 7 days. Those 7 days. I slowly asked for a mirror. The nurse gave me a small mirror. I looked. The reflection was normal. But as the nurse left the room, the reflection slowly blinked and silently said with her lips, "Round 2. If you're hearing this, then maybe I'm not fully alive anymore. Or else, I'm a thing that's dead." Everything seemed normal in the hospital room. The machines were beeping. The 4 drip was slowly dripping. Amy was sitting beside me, crying. The doctor was saying, "He's a miracle case. Recovery isn't possible after a 7-day coma, but he survived." He survived. He called me he. As if I wasn't a human being but a case. I slowly looked at my hands. It was slightly transparent, but only I could see it. When I tried to hold Amy's hand, my hand would pass through hers, but she would feel that I had held her, as if some illusion was playing.
Then,
A shadow moved in the corner of the room. I froze. The same reflection, but this time it wasn't in the mirror, directly on the wall, as if some separate body had stuck to it. She said softly, "Go to the mortuary." My breath stopped. I got up from the hospital bed. No one stopped me. The nurse passed by me, but she didn't see me. I understood. I wasn't being completely physical. I walked down the corridor. The lights were flickering. There was an echo with every step. I stopped in front of the elevator. I pressed the button. The elevator opened automatically. There was no one inside. Only the button at the bottom was already glowing. Basement. Mortuary. The elevator was slowly descending. Every second felt heavy.
then,
The elevator stopped. The door opened. A cool breeze hit my face. The basement was completely silent. Written above the door was, "Mortuary. Authorized staff only." I went inside. Steel drawers were lined up. Each drawer had a number. My heart was pounding. 17, 17, 17. It was in the middle. Drawer number 17. My feet stopped. A voice came from behind. "Open it." I turned slowly. Reflection was behind me, but now he looked completely normal. Clean clothes. Live eyes. He was smiling. The time has come to see the truth. I grabbed the drawer handle.
cold.
Like snow. I pulled slowly. The drawer came out. A body wrapped in a white sheet. The name on the tag was written, Samir Ahmed. Date, today. My throat dried up. The reflection came closer to me. Sheet removed. My hands were shaking, but I lifted the sheet, and what I saw,
It wasn't me.
it was the reflection. The same face, those same eyes. But this time, her eyes were open. She was looking directly at me. I stepped back. "What is this?" Reflection started laughing. "Confused?" he said. "My body was killed in the accident. My soul was split." I shouted, "Which one is the real one?" He slowly came closer to me. "Not both." My mind went blank. When the soul splits, something else is born. The mortuary lights went off all at once.
Darkness.
Only the emergency red light was on. The body in drawer 17 slowly got up and sat down. His neck was bent at a strange angle. His eyes had turned completely black, and he looked at both of us simultaneously. Both I and my reflection froze. He started speaking, body. But both of us had voices. Mine too. The reflections too. You both were temporary. My mind went blank. I am the original. The reflection retreated. For the first time, there was fear on his face. The body from the mortuary came out of the drawer. Its legs weren't touching the floor. It was moving in the air. The accident wasn't just an accident. The room's temperature dropped to 0. That was a ritual. My heart started to stop. What ritual? The body smiled. Replacement. The reflection looked at me. "We both can't stop it," I shouted. "What should we do?" The mortuary sun slowly came closer to us. "You two go back. Or else..." He came right in front of me.
Die.
The reflection looked straight at me. "There's only one chance." My mind was spinning. If I had merged, I might have perished. But if I hadn't, that third thing would have come into the world. The reflection extended its hand. "Trust me." The mortuary Samir was laughing. "Decide." I had 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7. The mortuary's equipment started to crack. 6, 5. Reflection yelled. "Right now." I grabbed her hand. There was a loud explosion in the room. White flash. Everything was silent. When I opened my eyes, I was on a hospital bed. The doctor was saying, "Vitals are stable." Amy was smiling. Everything seemed normal. But when the nurse brought the mirror, I looked slowly. Reflection was perfectly in sync. Same expression. Same movement. Normal. I breathed a sigh of relief. Then the reflection blinked and softly said, "Now we are 3." My neck slowly turned in the direction of the mortuary. Outside the door, in the corridor, a third shadow had fallen. Send feedback. If you're hearing this, then maybe I'm not fully alive anymore. Or else, I'm the thing that's dead. Everything seemed normal in the hospital room. The machines were beeping. The 4-drip was slowly dripping. Amy was sitting beside me, crying. The doctor was saying, "He's a miracle case. Recover." Beeping. The 4-drip was slowly dripping. Amy was sitting beside me, crying. The doctor was saying, "He's a miracle case. Recovery isn't possible after a 7-day coma, but he survived. He survived." He called me, as if I wasn't a human being but a case. I slowly looked at my hands. It was slightly transparent, but only I could see it. When I tried to hold Amy's hand, my hand would pass through hers, but she would feel that I had held her, as if some illusion was playing. Then, a shadow moved in the corner of the room. I froze. The same reflection, but this time it wasn't in the mirror. Directly on the wall, as if some separate body had stuck to it. She said softly, "Go to the mortuary." My breath stopped. I got up from the hospital bed. No one stopped me. The nurse passed by me, but she didn't see me. I understood. I wasn't being completely physical. I walked down the corridor. The lights were flickering. There was an echo with every step. I stopped in front of the elevator. I pressed the button. The elevator opened automatically. There was no one inside. Only the button at the bottom was already glowing. Basement.
Mortuary.
The elevator was slowly descending. Every second felt heavy. Then, the elevator stopped. The door opened. A cool breeze hit my face. The basement was completely silent. Written above the door was, "Mortuary. Authorized staff only." I went inside. Steel drawers were lined up. Each drawer had a number. My heart was pounding. 17, 17, 17. It was in the middle. Drawer number 17. My feet stopped. A voice came from behind. "Open it." I turned slowly. Reflection was behind me, but now he looked completely normal. Clean clothes. Live eyes. He was smiling. The time has come to see the truth. I grabbed the drawer handle.
Cold.
Like snow. I pulled slowly. The drawer came out. A body wrapped in a white sheet. The name on the tag was written. Samir Ahmed. Date. Today. My throat dried up. The reflection came closer to me. Sheet removed. My hands were shaking, but I lifted the sheet. And what I saw,
It wasn't me.
it was the reflection. The same face. Those same eyes. But this time, her eyes were open. She was looking directly at me. I stepped back. "What is this?" Reflection started laughing. "Confused?" he said. "My body was killed in the accident. My soul was split." I shouted. "Which one is the real one?" He slowly came closer to me. "Not both." My mind went blank. When the soul splits, something else is born. The mortuary lights went off all at once. Darkness. Only the emergency red light was on. The body in drawer 17 slowly got up and sat down. His neck was bent at a strange angle. His eyes had turned completely black. And he looked at both of us simultaneously. Both I and my reflection froze. He started speaking, body. But both of us had voices. Mine too. The reflections too. "You both were temporary." My mind went blank. I am the original. The reflection retreated. For the first time, there was fear on his face. The body from the mortuary came out of the drawer. Its legs weren't touching the floor. It was moving in the air. The accident wasn't just an accident. The room's temperature dropped to 0. That was a ritual. My heart started to stop. "What ritual?" The body smiled. "Replacement." The reflection looked at me. "We both can't stop it." I shouted. "What should we do?" The mortuary sun slowly came closer to us. "You two go back. Or else." He came right in front of me.
Die.
The reflection looked straight at me. There's only one chance. My mind was spinning. If I had merged, I might have perished. But if I hadn't, that third thing would have come into the world. The reflection extended its hand. Trust me. The mortuary Samir was laughing. Decide. I had 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7. The mortuary's equipment started to crack. 6, 5. Reflection yelled. Right now. I grabbed her hand. There was a loud explosion in the room. White flash. Everything was silent. When I opened my eyes, I was on a hospital bed.
The doctor was saying,
Vitals are stable. Amy was smiling. Everything seemed normal. But when the nurse brought the mirror, I looked slowly. Reflection was perfectly in sync. Same expression. Same movement. Normal. I breathed a sigh of relief. Then the reflection blinked and softly said, Now we are 3. My neck slowly turned in the direction of the mortuary. Outside the door, in the corridor, a third shadow had fallen. Because after that night, I became a guest in my own body. Morning light was entering the room. Everything seemed normal. But normality was only superficial. Inside, I had taken some more control. I was walking. I was talking. I was laughing. But decisions, they weren't mine. I stood in front of the mirror. The reflection was smiling at me. This time, it wasn't independent. He and I were in sync. But when I thought inwardly, my thoughts slowed, as if something was filtering them. The phone vibrated. Fahad's message. Bro, when's the party? You're a miracle, grinning face with sweat. Seeing the emoji made my blood boil. Miracle. Or murder. I remembered everything. Rainy night. Truck headlights. Impact. And on the steering wheel of the truck, Fahad, my friend, who was jealous of my promotion. I wanted to yell, but a faint smile appeared on my lips. That smile wasn't mine. It was Shadow's. A voice came from inside. Revenge, I thought slowly. Why did you kill the nurse? Shadow replied. Collateral. My heart broke. I was trapped in the body of a murderer. Or was the murderer in mine? The difference was blurring. Fahad called in the evening. Bro, let's meet. Let's celebrate. My lips said without my consent. Sure. I was driving the car, but I wasn't controlling the steering. My hands were moving, but the decision was someone else's. Shadow said softly. He started the ritual. I will complete it. My mind froze. What ritual? Images started flashing. Fad sitting with some strange man. Black candles. Paper with my name written on it. A drop of blood.
Deal.
Remove it. I'll do whatever you want. Shadow said. I fulfill your wishes. I'll take the price. The car stopped outside the restaurant. Fad was crying, smiling, as if nothing had happened. He got in the car. Bro, you've come back from death. His smile was fake. Shadow internally tightened the controls. My hands gripped the steering wheel firmly. The car started moving. Fahad kept talking, but all I could hear was his heartbeat. Doc, doc, doc. Shadow said. Just one push. There was an empty flyover on the side of the road. It was nighttime. It started raining. Just like that night. My heart was pounding. Knock it off, I said internally. Shadow laughed. The deal is out of balance. My foot pressed the accelerator. Speed 120. 130. Fahad said tensely. Bro, slow down. Shadow turned the steering right. The car went towards the barrier. At the last second, I tried with all my might to regain control. The steering jerked back to upright. The car skidded.
Spin. Crash.
Darkness. When I opened my eyes, I was lying face down. The seatbelt was holding me. Fahad was lying on the side seat, covered in blood, but alive. Shadow said softly. Weak. I said with full force. I will not become a killer. Shadow fell silent. He then spoke softly. Then I will choose someone else. My heart stopped.
Who?
Silence. A light laugh followed. I suddenly remembered. Amy is alone at home. My mind went blank. I unfastened my seatbelt. got out of the car, picked up my phone, called Amy.
Ring, ring, ring.
Then someone picked it up, but it wasn't Amy. From the other side came the same long, shadowy voice. Come home quickly. My blood froze. I yelled, don't touch them. The shadow said softly, you refused revenge. Now I'll make my own choice. The call cut. My legs were trembling. Fahad looked at me with bloodshot eyes. Samir, please forgive me. I understood everything. He had made the deal, but he had no control. Now I could decide. Either I leave Fahad here and run home. That's his escape. Shadow said softly. Time is limited. My mind was spinning. I took Fahad out of the car. I laid him down on the side of the road. Then I got back in the car, started the engine, full speed towards home. The rain intensified. Same road, same night, but this time, I wasn't alone. I looked in the rearview mirror. That tall shadow was sitting in the back seat, and he said softly, this burial ritual will be completed. Send feedback. If you're listening to this, then maybe there's still time. But for me, the countdown had begun. The car was going full speed in the rain. The wipers were moving like crazy. The road was blurry. My heart was racing. I looked in the rearview mirror. That tall shadow was sitting on the back seat. This time, she wasn't silent. She was smiling. Her eyes were deeper than darkness. She said softly, it'll all be over when we get home. I grabbed the steering wheel tighter. Don't touch them. Shadow laughed. You refused the deal. Now I'll take the balance as I please. My mind was repeating only one thing. Mom must be safe. I arrived outside the house. The gate was open. The lights were on. But there was a strange silence. As soon as I got out of the car, the air became cold. The rain suddenly stopped. It was as if time had frozen. I ran inside. The living room was empty, but the TV itself was on. The same road accident clip was playing on the screen. My car. Truck. Impact.
Repeat, repeat, repeat.
My throat went dry. Amy. There was no answer. Shadow called after me. Up. I climbed the stairs. A voice echoed with every step. The bedroom door was slightly open. I pushed gently. In the middle of the room, a circle was drawn on the floor with black chalk. The same ritual circle. Candles were burning. And in the middle of the circle, Amy fell unconscious. My blood froze. Shadow came very close to me. Perfect host. I shouted. No. Shadow said.
Complete.
Emotional attachment strong. Stable vessel. I tried with all my strength to take control. My body started to tremble. Reflection appeared in the mirror. This time he looked weak. He said softly, Samir, there's only one way. Which one? Reflection said, let the ritual be complete, but change the host. My mind went blank. What do you mean? Shadow entered the circle. The candle flames grew longer. Room temperature dropped to 0. Reflection shouted, offer your life. Without thinking, I stepped inside the circle. Shadow froze. Are you crazy? I pulled Amy out of the circle, pushed her away. Then I stood in the middle. Take me. Shadow started laughing. You're already halfway there. The candles flickered out simultaneously. The room shook. I felt my body being torn apart. Shadow started to penetrate me. This time the pain was unbearable. My memories were burning. Childhood.
School.
Office. Everything was a blur. The reflection was struggling in the mirror. Samir, focus. Remember the name. Which name? Reflection yelled. His real name. I remembered. In the hospital basement, the mortuary entity had said one word, which I had ignored. That name was Zarqaal. I yelled with all my strength. Zarqaal. The room was silent for a second. Shadows froze. Candles went out.
Darkness.
Then he yelled. The voice wasn't human. Walls cracked. Mirror shattered. Shadow was suddenly ejected from my body. He was floating in the air, turning into smoke. Don't name it. I yelled again. Zarqaal. This time he shrank even smaller, as if his energy was being drained. The reflection looked at me with a weak smile. Continue. I kept repeating that name over and over. Shadow shrank. Then a powerful blast. Everything was silent. The candles went out. The circle faded. The room returned to normal. I was lying on the ground. Amy was beginning to regain consciousness in the corner. Samir, what's going on? I started crying. Everything's fine. But deep inside, I wasn't sure. Morning came. Home was normal. Check the news. No strange death. The hospital nurse's case was also suddenly declared natural causes. As if the system had reset. I went in front of the mirror. Reflection normal.
Perfectly in sync.
I breathed a sigh of relief. But when I turned around, the reflection remained static. This time, he wasn't smiling. He was serious. And he said softly, "You just made him run away."
My throat went dry.
Where did he go? The reflection looked back slowly. I looked back too. On the living room wall, teen shadows thinned. The reflections. And a third, which was slowly growing longer. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. Message. Zarqaal never leaves. He upgrades. My breath stopped. On the road outside the window, a new accident happened. People were gathering. Ambulance. And the body lying on the stretcher. I could clearly see his face. It was pale, but his eyes, they were completely black. And he was looking straight at me, smiling. Then Zarqaal has probably already chosen someone else. And if you've ever felt jealous, then he might be watching you too. The ambulance's red light was flashing outside the window. The rain had started again. Fahad's body lay on the stretcher. But he didn't look like a dead body. He was completely relaxed, as if he were sleeping. Only one thing was wrong.
His eyes.
Purely black. And he was looking straight at me. I froze. The reflection was making slight movements in the mirror. It said softly. He shifted. My throat went dry. What do you mean? The reflection replied. Zarqaal has chosen a new host. My mind went into flashbacks. Jealousy.
Deal.
Ritual circle. Promotion. Accident. It was all a pattern. The reflection said. Zarqaal doesn't take direct control. He amplifies emotions. Jealousy.
Greed.
Revenge. Then the host completes the ritual itself. I said slowly, meaning Fahad didn't just steal? Reflection. He was already infected. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. This time I wasn't scared. I received it. Only one sentence from the other side. Have you ever thought about how many jealous people there are in the city? Line cut. My mind went blank. If Zarqaal has been upgraded, then maybe it's not limited to one body anymore. I opened the news app. Breaking news. Business partner killed in suspicious crash. College student jumps from roof after fight. Office employee attacks manager. One thing was common everywhere. Jealousy. Anger. Competition. The reflection said softly. He's building a network. The room lights began to flicker. The shadows on the wall were multiplying. Now not 3,
7,
then 10. Each shadow a different size, a different shape. I understood. Zarqaal had become a virus, an emotional virus. The doorbell rang. Ding dong. My heart stopped. I slowly went down. The gate opened. Fahad was there. Absolutely alive. Absolutely normal. But his eyes, deep black. He smiled. Bro, I heard I survived the accident. A chill ran down my spine. You were in the hospital.
He laughed.
I'm strong. The reflection in the mirror was panicking. Close the door. But it was already late. Fad came straight in. He stood in the middle of the room and said softly, "Upgrade complete." Her shadow was moving separately on the wall. She grew taller and went up to the ceiling. Fad looked at me. You used her name, right? I remained silent. He came closer. The name gives power. But the network is more powerful. The room temperature started to drop. I felt multiple presences. as if there weren't just two of us in the house. The reflection yelled from inside the mirror. Samir, now are you going to fight, or won't you stop spreading? My mind was racing. How do I fight? The reflection said, reverse the emotion. What do you mean? What does it mean? What's the opposite of jealousy? I froze. Forgiveness. Reflection. Yes. Fahad started laughing. Let's go. He placed his hand on my chest. This time there wasn't just one shadow. There were dozens. They were eyeing me from every angle. My mind started flashing. Every moment I felt jealous of someone. Every comparison. Every ego. I understood. The jealousy wasn't just in Fahad. It was in me too. The reflection said softly, confess. I spoke louder. I was jealous. The room shook. The shadows weakened a bit. Fahad's expression changed. I shouted. I was selfish. Another blast. Shadows began to retreat. Fahad became angry. Stop. I closed my eyes. I forgive you, Fahad. The room went silent. Fahad froze. His eyes flickered. From black to brown. Then black. Then brown. The shadows began to collapse. The reflection in the mirror was getting stronger. I spoke the final line. Zarqaal, you have won only on ego. A powerful blast. Fahad fell back. Room normal. Lights stable. Only two shadows remained. Mary. Reflection. Fahad was lying on the floor, breathing heavily. His eyes were normal. He looked confused. Samir, what happened? I cried. Maybe we had won. Or maybe it was a temporary win. The phone vibrated. Message from an unknown number. Node destroyed. Then another message. Central host active. My throat went dry. The reflection said softly. He wasn't here. I asked softly. Then where is he? The reflection looked straight behind the mirror. I looked too. Inside the mirror's glass, an entire city was visible.
People. Cars.
Buildings. And on the wall of every building, a long shadow. The reflection said softly. Upgrade means expansion. My phone vibrated again. Video call. Unknown. I received it. On the screen, it was my face. But the background was different. He was staying at someone else's house. And he smiled and said,
S.
The mirror had cracked. Reflection's voice was heavy. Final phase begins. My mind kept repeating one thing. Central host. If Zarqaal is building a network, then it must have a source. A core. Reflection said softly. Remember the night of the accident? I closed my eyes.
Rain.
Highway. Truck. But one detail I had overlooked. There was an old underpass next to the accident spot. Abandoned. Reflection said. The ritual is completed there. My heart pounded. So, the source is there? The reflection said just one word. Gateway. I got in the car without telling anyone. Fahad had gone home. I don't remember anything about him. But I knew. The game is still on. The rain started again. Same road. Same wind. Same smell. As if time was in a loop. I stopped near an underpass. The darkness, there wasn't normal darkness.
It was thick.
Like smoke. I went inside. Footsteps were echoing. Strange symbols were formed on the wall. The same one that was in the ritual circle. But this time on a larger scale. In the middle of the underpass, a massive black circle had formed on the ground. And in the center of the circle, there was a mirror. Very large.
Cracked.
But still active. The entire city was visible within it. And shadows everywhere. The reflection fell on my side. This time it had come out of the mirror.
Solid.
This is the central node. I spoke softly. Zarqaal. A voice came from inside the mirror.
Deep.
Layered. Multiple voices. You named me. My throat went dry. You only win with your ego. A dark shape began to form inside the mirror.
Tall.
Faceless. But powerful. I only amplify. I don't create anything. You people do. My mind froze. What do you mean? Jealousy is yours. Greed is yours. Comparison is yours. I am just a mirror. The room was silent. The reflection said softly, "He is speaking the truth." My heart broke. Destroying Zarqaal means to change human nature. Impossible. The entity inside the mirror laughed. I never kill. I am inside every human being. The underpass began to shake. Shadows emerged from the walls and began to approach me. The reflection looked at me. There is only one option. Which one? Break the mirror. I froze. If I break the mirror? Reflection. The gateway will collapse. But reflection silent. But what? He said softly. I'll go too. My throat choked. Reflection was part of my split soul. I'm incomplete without it. Zarqaal's voice echoed inside the mirror. Sacrifice. I understood everything. If I want to destroy the gateway, then I'll have to end my split existence, merge permanently, or erase it. Reflection smiled and said, I was just a survival copy. Now become the real me. Tears welled up in my eyes. I picked up the heavy iron rod that was lying on the side. I collapsed in front of the mirror. Zarqaal shouted, Think about it. The underpass started to collapse. Shadows were lingering at my feet. The reflection came in front of me. It grabbed my hand.
Together.
I hit the rod with full force on the mirror.
A crack.
Then again. A powerful blast. The mirror shattered. White flash. Deafening silence. When I opened my eyes, it was morning. I was on my bed. Single shadow. Single reflection. Normal. Checked my phone. News normal. No strange accidents.
No viral fights.
Everything was normal. I went to the mirror. The reflection was completely in sync. No independent movement. Not a wink. Not a whisper. I gave a slight smile. The reflection gave the same smile.
Peace.
But as I was leaving the room, in a corner of the mirror glass, a small black line moved. Just for a second, as if someone was breathing inside a crack. The phone vibrated. Unknown notification. System rebooted. There was another line below. Version 2.0 loading. A chill ran down my spine. I slowly glanced at the mirror. The reflection was perfectly normal. But this time, he didn't move. I raised my hand. The reflection raised its hand. But a second late. Just a second. And he smiled softly. Send feedback.